Hey guys, I thought I'd make another quick tip video. I ain't made one for probably about a year or so. Anyway, this is a Stihl MS170 I bought off a friend of mine about a year ago, and there's something wrong with the bar on it. I put a new chain on it, thinking it was just a chain, but it's the bar is apparently pinched or wore down on one side, so it's cutting extremely uneven when you go through a log. So we're going to put a new bar and chain on it, and I couldn't find a Stihl brand replacement local. There's out of them. So I had to order a Forester brand one. I don't know if this is an upgrade or a downgrade, so we're going to find out on that. This is a 16-inch bar and chain. It's a good little saw. I'm just getting it ready. We're not going to be cutting any wood with it right now in the video. We're just trying to get it ready to use. I'm also going to show you how to clean a chainsaw too, which is real important and a lot of people don't do. So let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing, you want to remove your side cover here. You want to do this with the saw off, obviously, and when it's cold too. You don't want to do this right after you use it unless you absolutely have to. But everything's going to be really hot if you have to do it right after you're using it. So you might want to use gloves or something if you're doing that. This saw is a lot simpler than some of the big ones, but everything's still very similar. See all this sawdust that gets built up inside here? You want to clear all this out, because it can block the oil passages and stuff in here and make your chain overheat and everything. You can loosen the tension first if you'd rather, but you don't necessarily have to. The best way to clean this up is just spray it down with brake parts cleaner or carburetor cleaner and take an air hose and spray it off, and make sure you got safety glasses on when you do it. You don't necessarily have to spray it down with carburetor cleaner. It just makes it a little bit easier to clean it thin a lot. And that's why you wear safety glasses, guys. You see it all over there. Alright, so anytime you get a new bar, if it has a little hole right here towards the end, there's actually a bearing in here that you can grease. And some of them don't have it, and actually the original Stihl one that came off of it didn't have one, so you couldn't grease it. So what you would do in this case, just drop some motor oil down in here. That way the bearing won't be dry. Then but on this type, it's got the hole here. What you can do, just take a grease gun. They make a tool just for doing this, but this works just the same. Press it down there, and it'll force the grease down into that bearing. Some of it will seep out, as you see. And you don't necessarily have to, but I like to flip it over and do the other side just to make sure it's getting all the way to the bearing. That's about all you need to do. And after you grease it, I always like to put just a little bit of oil down along the bar, just so the chain ain't starting dry. I've heard of some people soaking the chain in oil, but you don't really necessarily have to do that. Get your chain started on the bar. Okay. You want to back the adjustment off on the saw. That way you better put the bar on, because your new chain is going to be tighter than the old one. You want to make sure the chain's in the center of the sprocket and not caught in between there like you've seen it try to do. And just to make things simpler, I'll go ahead and put just a little bit of tension on here. You want to make sure that the adjustment pin is through the hole over here. I'm just going to take the slack out and we'll do the final adjustment here in a minute. Some saws will have the adjustment made in on the cover. And if that's your case, just line it up with the bar, make sure the chain's on in the slot, then you have to do the adjustment. This is slightly different, but you don't want to tighten these yet. You just want to run them in until they're just starting to get snug, and you do your chain adjustment. See, we've got quite a bit of slack in the chain. You don't want them too tight or too loose. If they're too loose, it'll be popping off. If they're too tight, it'll bind up and make it run hotter. And you'll lose power because it's taking more stress from to move the chain. Also, another little tip: you want to make sure that the cutting edge of the chain is facing the front, like this, because it cuts on the back way like this. So we need a little bit tighter than this. That's about what you want. It's still a little bit snug, but you want to do a couple cuts with it, and you want to adjust it again because that chain will stretch once it heats up. Like I say, if you can do that, that's just about what you want. It's just a little bit tight, but like I said, it will loosen up. You also want to keep an eye on your bar chain oil level. Every time you put gas in it, top the oil off. Even if it's still got a half a tank, go ahead and top it off the way you know you got plenty of oil in it. Now I'll show you how to make sure that the chain is getting oil. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to make sure the bar is getting oil to it. This is the easiest way to check it. I'm just using a towel here just so you'll be able to see it on the camera better. You see it spraying off right there, so you know it's getting oil to it. Well guys, thanks for watching. That's about all there is to changing the bar and chain. And like I said, after you cut with it a couple times, you want to check the tension again. Make sure it cools down because it will get hot. You see it's loosened up a little bit already. So it'll be alright for a little bit. But if you got any questions or comments, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So thanks for watching.